my name's Caleb Smith. I work at Washington Fine Properties, but with one of their best teams, the Thornett and Quarter team. So it's me and then two other agents, and then we have an operations manager. And I serve all kinds of people. And yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go with this, but yeah, I've every single type of human that you can interact with, I've worked with so far. So,
Amazing. I can't
mhm.
wait to learn more about everything you do. So, take me back to how you got started in all of this. Tell me how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2020, COVID. Locked everything down, and I worked at Jersey Mike's in Percival, and went to JMU. Went through my freshman year at JMU, and I had an internship at a financial advising company, and they canceled it because there was holdovers from the year before from COVID. And so my dad is a builder in McLean, and he's like, "Hey, I've got these real estate agents that are really awesome. You should work with them, just do their grunt work." So they were having me sort paperwork or whatever, and I was like, "This is terrible, Micah. Like, give me something to do." So he just had me knock on teardowns and was like, "Hey, if you get us a teardown, like that's a big deal, and it helps your dad out a lot." Now I completely struck out, probably knocked on 200 doors in the middle of the summer, but that like chance of something awesome happening was a lot more interesting to me than just methodically knocking stuff out. So went to JMU. I don't know how far you want me to go with this, but I went to JMU, graduated in 3 years, and was going to be a bartender and like manager of a restaurant in Harrisonburg because I had applied to a couple real estate groups in Harrisonburg and they didn't want me, didn't answer the calls. And then I had a family friend say, "Hey, I've got this 25-year-old agent that I work with, and he's a stud." So I got a beer with him. I was like, "I'll do whatever you need and just try it out." I'd probably go into something, maybe trades related or some other sales job if it hadn't worked out. But luckily, the 9 months selling commercial real estate in Harrisonburg, I think was a great experience, and got married and moved up here and started at Washington Fine Properties. So yeah,
Very cool.
that's
So
kind
you,
of the down low.
very cool. So you kind of been all over to
Mm-hmm.
get to where you are. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so you started your career working with some incredibly unique early deals and markets.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, what was one of the biggest lessons or turning points that shaped the way you approach real estate today?
The best thing about Craig, the guy that I worked with and kind of taught me initially, is that his focus is all about helping people regardless. And if they end up screwing him over, then he just doesn't work with them again. But he goes above and beyond. He underpromises, overdelivers. And so at the beginning, because I was struggling to pay rent, didn't have much money for groceries, which you get creative. I needed the commission check or to sell a house so bad that it's like that's the only goal, but you're going to do a lot better in business and treat people better when that's not the goal. And so I think a lot of people have the conception, and it's not a misconception, that can be shady. And I think part of the reason is because you're looking at people very transactionally. Whereas if I have a client that I sell a house for, or buy a house, and they love me, that could open me up to their entire family, friends, all that. So without referrals, you're going to waste all your money on marketing. So still
Absolutely.
haven't spent any money on marketing.
Hey, that's awesome. And I love the point that you make about just having those client relationships. I'm
Hmm.
sure from the beginning of when you meet them till far even after the deal has been closed, they are reaching out to you
Hmm.
and wanting to confide, consult with you. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So now that you're with the Washington Fine Properties, one of the most respected brokerages in the region, how has that environment elevated the way you operate and serve your clients?
My grammar's constantly being put under fire, and then the way I dress. So I would always roll in jeans, Carhartt shirt, or like gym shorts. Because also, if you dressed like this, you'd be people wouldn't like you in Harrisonburg. So you'd even have to slip into a southern accent a little bit just to make people feel comfortable. But so the first day I got there, Jenny and Micah, who are my teammates, they give me direction, and I just learned from them. They went on Brooks Brothers and a bunch of like schmoozy sites and were like, you need to get a better wardrobe. So that was like my wedding present from them. But it's kind of how to act, how to be professional. And even though the company in general and the team, I think, can be sticklers about things, they also have this elite brand to keep up. And so you have to elevate to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And so, with that, the Northern Virginia market is known for being highly competitive. How do you stay focused and deliver consistent value for your clients in such a fast-paced environment?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's true nationwide that there's more agents than there are homes that sell every year. It has to be true in Northern Virginia. Beyond just friends and people constantly getting barraged with marketing, you also have everyone's cousin's a realtor, everyone's aunt. It was a learning curve because normally the way I'd gotten business in Harrisonburg was cold calling, Craigslist, for sale by owners, driving around trying to find signs, people selling, people that had struggled to sell. And normally I could give them the pitch that I would help and do more than anyone else would, which was an easier sale to someone selling a $30,000 piece of land than it is to someone selling $1 million house, because I'm competing with 55-year-olds that have been doing it for 30 years. I Yeah, I ate a lot of poop for the first 6 months and still am, but it makes you better, and you yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I think it's such an important thing to remember, not just for this field, but all fields, is that we all start somewhere. And as we grow along the way, it just makes us so much stronger in the wisdom and just the tactics that we learn along the way.
Hmm.
So you're doing
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, the first so I got business originally. I didn't really have anything to do, so I was just finding expired listings and knocking on the door. So those are listings that had been on the market and the previous agent hadn't been able to sell it. Usually it's because of being overpriced is the main reason, but it could also be just terrible presentation, usually with the photos, no care to make the house look great. And so I found that if I knew something, anything as a entry point of conversation with the person, that I wouldn't get the door slammed in my face and cussed out. So even if it was, hey, you're a Nats fan because I saw it on their Facebook or something, like not creepy, but just like, hey, it was on Google. So that improved my chances a lot, and it worked a couple times. So,
For sure. I feel like there's always a way to relate to somebody and kind
mhm.
of build that initial relationship.
Yeah.
And kind of digging a little bit more into that, you mentioned that you focus on building strong, authentic relationships instead of cold calling or chasing referrals. What does that relationship first approach look like day to day?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to call with the clients over everything. So when we're in the heat of like putting in multiple offers, I will might be on the phone with my clients 13 different times, just because a text, especially coming from me, where I'm just like, you don't think about the emotion and it can be easily misconstrued over text. So I think just phone call with everyone, the agents, because the relationship with the other agents is super important as well. But the phone call as opposed to a text or an email every time, they can. My goal when I'm done with every client is that he might not be the brightest bulb, but he cared the most about me. So that I, that's how I do it and try to show that I care to clients.
Definitely. And having that great communication. I mean, communication is key. And your personality just I can tell how it really will just help kind of seal the deal on knowing that you're the one for them to help you find their home.
Thanks. Thank you.
You've said that for you, real estate is personal, about trust and relationships, not just transactions. What kind of have made that philosophy so important in your work?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to pick a job to make money, and so the goal is to make money. And if we don't sell any houses, my sweet dog doesn't eat. It is a job at the end of the day, but you can either be super transactional, cutthroat, and cold about it and just purely go with the numbers, which a lot of agents do and do it to success. But I don't feel any fulfillment if that is the way I handle it. Our team motto is that we're working for God and not for man. So we're trying to treat people the way we would want to be treated, how we would want my grandma to be treated, how we would want my mom to be treated. So yeah, it's just treating the people the right way.
Well said. I love it. And you recently sold a 2 million McLean lot off market in just 5 days. Can you walk us through how that deal came together and what made it stand out?
Well, that's not sold yet. It's under contract. It's not
Okay.
contingent anymore. But yeah, that'll pop up in a few days. So the difference there, there's been some rule changes nationwide with commissions, with how listings are being presented. And so a lot more deals are happening in the off market space. Washington Fine Properties just got acquired by Compass in February, I think. And so we now have access to all of Washington Fine Properties listings as well as Compass's. So we can see a huge spreadsheet of all the Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC listings that are off market. And the reason someone would do it is they don't want to sell right away. They want to test a higher price, or they just don't want a barrage of showings. So for certain sellers, it's really beneficial. I just put land in Hamilton on the off-market database that will eventually go onto the public market, but this is the time I'm taking to like call builders, call developers, call new investors. So it gives us a little bit more control of the narrative sometimes, and for certain clients, they've gotten a lot more than they would have on the open market because of like the exclusivity of it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's very exciting. And then also, it's so fascinating to hear about all the moving pieces and moving parts that go behind all of this
Hmm.
and the different people that you go through to get that final end result.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's never been an easy one.
So, you've talked about raising the bar in real estate and how agent quality impacts the client experience. In your view, what truly defines a great agent today?
Yeah, I've don't think I've changed explicitly as a human in the past 2 years of doing it, but I've gotten a lot more knowledge. So there's a base level of knowledge obviously needed, but if you're a bad human, you're going to be a bad agent, and if you're a good human, you're likely going to be a good agent. The nice thing is Micah on my team is like stickler contractually, and he'll review everything, and so he makes sure that our stuff is very professional, very clean. Um, and then the rest of it is just human relationship because that's the whole business is relational. So good person, good agent,
For
I think
sure.
is that. Yeah.
Having those core values just to start with is, I feel like, the main thing.
Mhm.
So, technology and AI are reshaping every industry,
Yep.
including real estate. How do you see AI impacting agents, and how are you personally adapting to stay ahead of that curve?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it to you, but I always like to look at the 65-year-old agents who clearly just put their listing description in ChatGPT because there's a long dash three different times in their summary. So you got to get rid of that. But yeah, it's right now it's helping with small stuff, and it is helpful being about as young as any agent I've met because you're a little more used to technology and can get on the AI train. But eventually, I don't see a world where we don't get replaced at some point. But I think there is a much longer runway before that happens than some computer science jobs and everything like that. I know there's been several different companies that have tried to replace the agent. There's one in Northern Virginia. There's been a couple, but to this point, none of them have really gotten any traction. So I think we're safe for a few more years, but I might be a plumber in 5 years. Who knows?
Let's hope not. I think
Yeah,
you're on the path for you.
I hope so.
So, you're part of a younger generation of agents that's redefining what modern real estate looks like. What advantages do you think newer, forward-thinking agents bring to the table?
Yeah, I think it's really hard unless you have like a mentor that cares about you as a human and not like a money center because like I had the advantage of the first house I did the transaction on was my own home, so I could say, hey, this is my experience from that. And you don't have to explicitly say that it was my house that I bought, but I bought a house off market. And so it's really hard for a 50-year-old with kids to trust some 21-year-old kid who has never bought or sold a house themselves and just took a 60-hour class. So it's a really big uphill battle. I think the easiest way for someone my age or in this generation would be to come in with like the social media angle, the AI training angle, and add that to a team. And then you can't just take, you have to add something. So my version of the ad was door knocking, just grinding stuff out when I could, and being the guy that would drive an hour for a $30,000 listing. But I think that's the most tangible way that someone our age could do that.
For sure. And I think also Strive just really comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even if it's a $30,000 listing,
Yeah.
you were getting up, you were ready for it, and growing from that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
amazing. So, Washington Fine Properties represents some of the region's most exclusive listings. What's your strategy for helping clients navigate off-market opportunities or high-demand properties?
Yeah, so those are two different things. I would love to get in on some of the $35 million listings that some of the Washington Fund Properties agents have. But I look at the off-market one as, hey, for my buyers, whether it's me bringing it to the table or if it's something in the Compass database, hey, this is an opportunity. We can go a little slower. You're not going to be rushed. It's not going to be, hey, we've got three other offers we're competing with in a Monday deadline. So it usually helps the buyer to make a more informed decision. They can get a home inspection, usually, all that. In a multiple offer situation, obviously the numbers are what the numbers are at the end of the day. So the only thing that I can expressly provide is being the most professional agent and putting the cleanest offer I can in front of them, and also getting as much information as I can so that my clients, if they really need the house, they know what it takes to get it. But I've told a lot of clients that, like, hey, we've got to find a number that you're not going to wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I could have done 20,000 more, and not a number that we wake up and said I shouldn't have spent that extra 20,000. So you never want to be representing the buyer that gets cold feet and then you got to keep it together. That's just not a good situation to be. So I try not to be pushy in those situations because it's not gonna work out in the end.
Definitely. I like how you said that you do your research too, because I feel like it's so important in an industry like this
Hmm.
to do your homework.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
wonderful. I heard that your team has a fun challenge going
Mm.
on. If you hit 150 million in sales this year, something pretty memorable is set to take place. Can you share what that challenge is and what it says about your overall team culture and its fun and engaging energy?
Yeah, so I didn't get consent from either of my teammates to post this on Instagram, but I did, and it's one of my top Instagram videos, which isn't saying much because it has like 120 likes. Anyway, if we get to 150 million, which would probably put us as like the number two or three small team in Virginia, Micah, my male teammate, would have to shave his head, which he has beautiful, luscious locks, but we're at, I think, probably 105 or 110 right now, so we'd need to sell one of those $34 million houses at this point to get across the finish line. But there are some fun ones closing this week that'll bump the numbers up. So I'll probably do one more update, but unless Jaden Daniels, Josh Harris, one of the Commanders, guys with big contracts comes through, then we're probably in trouble. But it was a fun thing to shoot for, and a lot of people have brought it up to me that don't even know Micah. So, yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun.
For sure, it sounds like such a just fun and spirited and engaging team of people that you're with.
Yeah,
So
no, it's a great time.
it definitely shows up in business as well, not
Yeah.
just kind of in the team environment. Finally, for someone thinking about buying or selling in the Northern Virginia or DC area, what's one piece of advice you'd give them before they reach out to an agent?
The value proposition here. No, I think if you have a family member or someone you trust that sells more than five houses a year. I think the stat is 72% of agents sell one or less houses a year. So if you have a cousin with a license, that doesn't mean anything if they don't sell any houses. If you're working a full-time job and you're also a realtor, then you can't write contracts in the middle of the day. You can't be totally available. So I would find a full-time agent who lives and breathes real estate, and then I'd find someone that you trust, because at the end of the day, yeah, we might not have the marketing budget or the Botox or I have a Toyota Corolla, not like a Porsche. But if you trust your agent, then that goes a lot farther than the Porsche.
Trust
Uh,
is everything,
oh,
and what's inside and doing the homework and showing up every day. That's the important thing at the end
yeah,
of the day.
for sure.
As we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to add that I haven't touched on today?
I guess I'll have to come back and we can talk about the my interactions with the cops and the manslaughter case and all that, but that's for another time.
Yes, you got to update us on Micah too.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going
we'll
on?
see. We'll take a selfie and send it in.
Awesome. Caleb, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. It was a pleasure to hear your story, an inspiring one of that. And I wish you the best of luck in the future and all that comes to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.